No, your eyes do not deceive you. Yes, it's Saturday instead of Sunday, but in the last couple days I made plans for Sunday that I won't be able to do the stream tomorrow, right before Money in the Bank. My wife and I have a lot going on tomorrow, especially with tomorrow being Mother's Day, that I figured I'd come to you a day early, save you a little bit of time. I notice I'm having some stream issues, so I may be, let's see. All right, we back? We back? Hopefully we're back. Are we back? Let me know. All right, cool. Cool. Okay, so what's up, everybody? So yeah, like I mentioned before, I won't be doing the live stream tomorrow due to Mother's Day tomorrow. We got a lot to take care of. Money in the Bank's tomorrow, obviously, so we'll be watching that also. And normally I'd come to you with a pre-show on the day of the pay-per-view, but life happens, you know. So I still want to make sure I gave you a stream this weekend. I still want to make sure that I gave you guys some content as opposed to nothing at all. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, at Greg Cherrybrand, you probably already knew this. I said this around 1 o'clock, maybe a little bit after, that the stream would be today instead of tomorrow. But now that that explanation's over, let's get into some of the comments. Domestic Butler says, "This is normally Sunday. Have I slept longer?" Nope. All right. Don Wooding is back on. Good afternoon, Mr. Cherry. How's the king of the trivia ring? Doing fine. Actually picked up yet another trivia championship on Thursday. The Undisputed Wrestling Podcast. I was on that with my good buddy, Dead End Old Chris Ross. And we became co-champions, I think. The way that was set up, it was a little weird. But yeah, we successfully won that trivia match. So I have now been successful on 3 wrestling trivia entities. So while this shirt may say Cherry 2 belts, I may have to do Ultimo Griggin here soon, just because of all the success I'm having with wrestling trivia. Jonelle Jackson says, if they give Shayna Baszler the Money in the Bank, how can I have a favorite character? Well, who do you like, Jonelle? Part of me thinks that Shayna Baszler winning Money in the Bank would be too easy. And a ladder match is one of those types of matches where losing doesn't hurt anybody, if that makes any sense. Losing the Money in the Bank match doesn't really hurt anybody standing because while they may not win, they didn't get pinned, they didn't really get beat. So if Shayna doesn't win the Money in the Bank, it doesn't hurt her. Just because there's 5 other women in the match. And who knows, maybe she gets tied up with one of the guys and one of the women sneaks up the ladder. We don't know. They've been advertising it as the most unique Money in the Bank match ever, and they're right. It really is, because it's not just a standard ladder match. It's basically like WWE's equivalent of the Hunger Games. It's really what it is. So I don't know if they're going to start the Money in the Bank match at the beginning of the pay-per-view and kind of just have it interweave through the show. I wouldn't like that. I would rather it just take place at the end of the show and make it go like 45 minutes to an hour. If they interweave it throughout the show, it kind of loses its luster a little bit, if that makes any sense. So I'd probably have all the other matches go on and then do the Money in the Bank last. Because you want the people to talk about Money in the Bank, so don't interweave it through. It's not like the Hardcore title or the 24/7 title where you can just intersperse it throughout the show and follow along. This is a bigger deal. Domestic Butler said, I was right about AJ. I said last week he would be the last person on Money in the Bank. And you're right. He was. Just want to make sure I'm not having too many stream issues. I might be. I don't know why. Hopefully my stream's not too bad today. Nick Glavin. Hey, Greg, do you think WWE will continue to come up with different ideas? Money in the Bank, Firefly, Funhouse, Boneyard match when crowds are back. They could. I don't. The thing is, if you remember for the Ultimate Deletion, the one with Bray and Matt Hardy, they didn't show that to the crowd. They just showed it to the people at home. So I don't really know if they'll do that when crowds are back. Because they also, at the same time, they did the friggin' House of Horrors match with the crowd. And that was a disaster. I don't know if they'll continue with the cinematic matches once they come back. Maybe for like a network special or something. But I doubt they'll continue to do it on their pay-per-views unless it's absolutely warranted, if that makes any sense. Domestic Butler is asking, do you think a heel wins both matches? According to my predictions, I predicted a heel would win both matches. If you watched the No DQ predictions on Tuesday, I was on that, and I predicted King Corbin and Nia Jax would win. My secondary pick was the Hacker for the men, but quite frankly, that could be for the women too. We don't know who the Hacker is. We don't know what gender they are. It really depends. A lot of people saying the Hacker could win and could reveal himself as Ali to make up for Money in the Bank last year, which would be cool because then I get a point in the predictions league. But I don't know if they'll go that route 2 years in a row of having somebody not in Money in the Bank win the match. But I guess we'll see. Yeah, I'm still sticking with Corbin. The end of Friday Night SmackDown with Corbin holding the briefcase does not bode well for me. Corbin holding the briefcase for SmackDown does not bode well for traditionally how those matches are booked, but I gotta stick with my guns. I mean, I predicted them officially on the No DQ predictions, so I gotta stick with my guns come hell or high water. I've been a Corbin guy for years, so I gotta stick with him. Because I selfishly want Baron Corbin to become the world champion or universal champion, whichever. Doesn't really matter to me. But, oh man, can you imagine the heat if Baron Corbin cashed in on somebody in NXT and became NXT champion? Oh, that pissed everybody off even more. Oh, I want to see that happen now. Oh, I want to see that happen. Domestic Butler says, looks like SummerSlam won't be in Boston as crowds won't be back. Yeah, the mayor of Boston said that they won't have any large crowd events till Labor Day, or after Labor Day, rather. So yeah, that does suck for SummerSlam, but they'll have to find an alternate route. There may be states in the union that decide, hey, we're open to crowds, you can come here. But I'm sure WWE has to negotiate with them to see if it's okay. And, man, that would suck if both WrestleMania and SummerSlam had to be held without fans this year. 2020 is not going to be one of those highly looked upon years in wrestling. It's kind of like 1995. But maybe, just maybe, after all this pandemic stuff is over, the wrestling business will boom again because they'll be like, hey, we have something to do now. We can go to wrestling shows. We can be entertained by wrestling because we get to interact with all these people, and it'll be great because life will be able to resume as normal. So maybe like this is the down point, and then there's a boom afterwards where wrestling becomes even bigger than it is now. I'm not saying exactly Attitude Era storylines, but I'd say ramp it up a little bit. And who knows? Perhaps the other end of this stick is that WWE and AEW and New Japan and Impact and NWA all come out better after this. But they survived through it by producing content that now they're being rewarded by people showing up to their shows and more people watching and excitement really building again for wrestling. We can only hope. Domestic Butler, saw the prediction video. Would you change any last minute if you could? I figured I'd almost have to change it from Strowman, or not Strowman, for Corbin. But I'm sticking with my guns. I gotta stick with them. Just because I made the prediction on video. It's easier to do when like I'm not on the predictions video. I can make it in the chat and be like, nobody really sees this except the people in the chat. So I'm going to change my mind because I have a little bit of a different feeling. But putting predictions on video is pretty solid. It's like, I feel like I'm doing you guys a disservice if I change my mind and don't let you know. So I feel like I'm locked into those predictions. Just sticking with them. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm nowhere near the top of the predictions league anyway, so I just took some shots in the dark. See what sticks, you know? Let's see. Curtis Butler, I love you, brother, but we'll disagree on Corbin. Old Possum King Corbin. Like I said, I've always been a Corbin guy. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I don't know why it's telling me I'm having stream issues. But it like keeps coming every couple minutes, and I don't know why. It's driving me nuts. Curtis Butler says, I'm sticking with Aleister Black and Shayna. Yeah, those are solid picks. Aleister Black would definitely be an interesting one. We'll see if that slow build of him continues. I'm hoping they don't make it too slow because you figure he's been on the main roster for a little over a year now. And it's like they're still feeding some jobbers to him. It's like, you got to give Aleister Black some feuds. You can't make him face jobbers forever before people are like, okay, we've seen this already. What else are we going to do about it, you know? Mr. Meacham. I just had a hockey puck fall off my bookcase onto my big toe. How's everyone else doing? Jeff's on the struggle bus already today. Looking on the positive side, at least some superstars are well rested when crowds are back. You know, that's why I said, too, that if wrestling would have shut down, then all the superstars would have been healthy to return. They wouldn't have had the wear and tear on their bodies. They would have had some time to rest, spend some time with their families. Now, granted, they're not doing house shows, so they still are getting some rest. They only have to do the live shows. So they are getting more time off to rest themselves. And they're almost working an indie schedule if you think about it. Only working a couple days a week, 1 or 2 days a week, and then spending time off. They actually kind of get the chance to rest their bodies a little bit more, which I'm sure they enjoy. I'm sure they still get the workouts in and everything, but they don't have to take the bumps as much. So realistically, these shows are helping a lot of the wrestlers recover their bodies because they're not going through the wear and tear. Now, will that mean once the shows start back up and the house show circuit and all that starts back up that we're going to see a plethora of injuries? I hope not, but it's possible. Just because they're not used to the wear and tear over the last couple months, and then they'll have to go back and go right into that intensity of wrestling every night. And it's definitely tough. Domestic Butler, I love the lone wolf gimmick. You talking about Corbin's old gimmick? Because that would make sense. Why do I still have skipped frames? Like, I did not change any settings on my stream. Why am I still having issues? Black and Otis both to win. They're going to take the briefcase down at the same time. How would that work? A dual Money in the Bank briefcase holder. And they're on different shows, so how would that work exactly? And will there be interference? Will people, for the Money in the Bank matches, will they try to go after more people will there be people like setting up traps? Like, will Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville try and trap Otis to make sure he doesn't win Money in the Bank? Will somebody go after, I don't know, will the Undertaker come back to help AJ or to attack AJ Styles again? We don't know that. I doubt it, but yeah, I'm just throwing out scenarios. Will people interfere that aren't on the card? Because you figure it's only a 6-match show right now. Yeah, they added like pre-show matches or a pre-show match and another match. They added MVP and R-Truth, and they added Cesaro versus Jeff Hardy. But you figure even with those matches, the Money in the Bank will probably still go at least half an hour. So will people set up traps throughout headquarters? I would love to see the lunacy of this because, like I mentioned, it's like the WWE's version of the Hunger Games, the way this Money in the Bank is set up. That they have to fight their way through everybody, go upstairs, go up elevators, go all the way to the top of the building, and then fight in the ladder match. Of course, by the time, it'd be nice if, like, by the time one of them gets up there, they, like, open the door to the top of the building and then just, like, barricade it so nobody else can get up there. Unless somebody flies in from a helicopter, which would be absurd, but definitely possible. Jeff says, you'll appreciate this. Finally got to replace my 2012 Stanley Cup ring that evidently got lost in the various moves. Well, at least you got another ring then. Of course, the LA Kings' first Stanley Cup championship. I don't have any like replica Lombardis for the Steelers. I don't have any Stanley Cup rings for the Penguins. I don't have a World Series like championship stuff for the Yankees, and I don't have a like national championship stuff for Notre Dame. Notre Dame might happen if that ever does happen in my lifetime, which I really hope it does. The Cleaver with a $10 super chat on my lunch break just wanted to say, hey, well, thank you, Curtis. And I'm going to get you, or Colin, sorry, I saw Curtis's. So thank you, Colin, for that. And I do want to let you know, I do have new spots on the wheel because I mentioned Road Story and Truth Time didn't really do much of anything. So let me really quickly explain to you the new spaces on the wheel. First of all, we got a spot called Macho Time, where I just go into some long Macho Man Randy Savage rant in his voice. We have a couple spots on here called Beach Bash. Now, my wife and I are starting up a Beach Buddy thing, and we're actually going to give out samples during the show. So you guys can win free samples of Beach Buddy stuff, and if you like it, then you can sign up with us, and we'll get you going on that. We're really excited about it. So. And the shakes are pretty good, too. So we'll get you set up with that. We'll get you a free sample. And if you like what you try, then there you go. Now, that'll come in due time because there's, like, shipping delays with everything due to the COVID stuff. So you might have to wait a little bit because I've ordered shirts that are still on back order through Teespring. But we'll go from there. I'll be doing a workout with 20 push-ups. That's a spot on the wheel now. I was trying to figure out which, because jumping jacks wouldn't really do anything for anybody, so 20 push-ups would do you there. And finally, promo class, where you give me a topic and I just go on some long-winded rant about it. So those are the new spots. Colin, let's get you a spin. Let's see if we can land on any of those, or if we land on one of the classics. Here we go. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row. It almost went to Beach Bash, but it's stuck on bankrupt. Colin, I'm so sorry. Oh, no. But that's the risk you take. It's the only spot. It's the only bankrupt on the wheel. I'm sorry about that, but I do appreciate the super chat. I appreciate you watching. But it's a 1 in 24 chance, so it's like a, what is that? Like a 4% chance of hitting that, but unfortunately. Wait a minute, did you get a bankrupt last week too? I can't remember, like, if you got a bankrupt last week. Somebody did. I don't remember if it was you or not, but I feel bad. Tell you what. It is luck of the spin. I'll tell you what, Colin. From me to you, I'll give you an entrance, okay? I will give you an entrance. I feel bad if you got 2 in a row. I want to give you something. So, yeah, you got 2 in a row. I feel bad. I personally feel bad. So, give me an entrance and I'll do it. I'll tell you what. I'm a nice guy. I can uphold this, but, you know, I want to give you something. So, I'll give you an entrance. Tell me an entrance you want me to do and I'll do it. Granted, it's not fair to other people who went bankrupt, but, you know, luck of the spin, I'll tell you what. Domestic Butler, what happens if you win something and you're from the UK? If you win something you're from the UK, well, the shirts can just be shipped to the UK, but I can also ship the samples to the UK without a problem. You just need to give me your address, and it would cost us a little bit more in shipping, but we can still get it to you. It's not a problem. So yeah, Colin, if you want to send me a wrestler's entrance to do, I'll do that for you. If you choose not to, that's fine, but I'm giving you the option at least. So there you go. Nick Lavin. Greg is a man of the people. Yes, I want to keep you guys entertained, because if I get like a bunch of people hitting bankrupt, even though the odds are really low, then people will be like, I don't want to spin because the wheel's rigged. But, you know, I'll show you right here. There's nothing rigging it up. This is just holding it in place. So, let's see the British Bulldog. Okay. I don't really have... I guess I have my Pennsylvania flag I can take down, because he typically had like the Union Jack. So give me a second. You're going to see the Pennsylvania Bulldog. The biggest pain in the ass is going to be putting this back up. Oof. Here we go. Ugh. All right. So, let me get Bulldog's music going on. Big G with a $20 super chat. Big G, brother, I'll get you your spins here in a little bit. British Bulldog entrance coming up right now. All right, so there's Bulldogs. Let's get back in screen here. Here we go. All right, I just gotta get back to. I gotta get back to the chat here. All right, so Big G, both your spins. Let's see what you get, brother. It is on. Karaoke. Is on Karaoke for Big G's first one. And the second one. Dance break. Karaoke and a dance break. All right, so let me... hold on. I have the lyrics for a song I wanted to do last week, and then I never ended up doing that particular song. So, karaoke songs. Oh, did I not get the lyrics? Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, so let me see if I can't find. Do both at the same time. Oh boy. All right. All right. I will do both at the same time. Let me see if I can do What is Love? All right, so here we go. I'm going to have this with me, and I'm going to do the dance and sing at the same time. Here we go. Two birds, one stone. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Hey, hey. So it's hard to do when you're moving your head like this. I don't know, you're not there. I give you my love, but you don't care. So what is right? What is wrong? Give me a sign. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Ooh, 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 ooh. I figured that part would be in there. Concussion. I don't know when I do. What else can I say? It's up to you. I know we'll want me and you. I can't go on. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Ooh, 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 what is love? What is love? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. This is a life. Time. We are together. Need you forever. Is it love? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Love, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? There you go, Big G. Ugh. All right, let's see here. Oops, wrong thing. Ken with a $3.55 super chats. Can you see me typing in the chat? Yeah, I can. And I guess I need to be on screen, huh? Don't I? I am. Yep. Yeah, I can see everybody's typing in the chat. I don't know why it's having issues. Everything's having issues today, apparently. But there you go. Interesting amount, $3.55. It's okay. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate it. That's hard to do. I figured I'd at least get my neck to crack out of that. Yep, it's good seeing you too, Ken. Appreciate you showing up. Appreciate Big G's that $20. That was the first time I've ever done a joint one, singing and dancing at the same time. But hey, if you want the combination, if you want to send in $20 and get the combination, feel free. Buddy Darius, hello Greg, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Cash Mendes, what is your opinion on the career of the iconic Ultimate Warrior? Where does he rank in your all-time great list? Ultimate Warrior definitely had an interesting career. I mean, he was obviously successful at what he did. He was a WWE Hall of Famer. I just think he had a pretty bad reputation. Why am I still having stream issues? Drives me insane. It's like every 2 minutes, too. It's like the Royal Rumble of stream entrances, or stream issues. I don't know why. It drives me nuts. I don't know if Warrior makes the top 10 of all time greats for me. I don't know where I'd put him to put together like a comprehensive list of my top superstars in wrestling history. I don't know where he would be on it. I honestly don't. He might. Let me just check something real quick. I just switched over my data on my phone, so I want to make sure I can still do this at the same time. Let's see. And hopefully I haven't used 129 gigs of data. I don't know how to check that on iPhone. But regardless, let me see here. I may have to just like go into Chrome and put this stuff on the screen. As much as I don't want to. Just to make sure I can still do that stuff. Let's see. YouTube. Might have a little delay here, guys. My apologies. There we go. Create Cherry's live stream. And as soon as it comes up, there we go. Do that stuff. Pause this so I don't have to have the video streaming. Cool. Macho Man might be on the list. Macho Man would probably be higher up on the list than the Warrior, in all honesty. Let me put this up here so I can see the stuff on here. Because it is a little bit of a pain in the butt to... Oh, crap. Oh, what can I do? It is a little bit of a pain in the butt to do all that. Okay. Pause that. Pause that for whenever I get the next entrance, if I do. So yeah, Savage is probably higher up on the list than the Warrior. Just because I think his legacy is a little better than the Warrior's. And as much as people imitate the Warrior, think about how many people imitate the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, my stream is a little slow. I apologize for that. I don't know what the issues are today. I switched. You can hear me speaking, but the screen is lagging. It was frozen for like 10 seconds. I wonder if I take this down to like... Oh, it is 144. Weird. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the best system for this because I wonder if it doesn't matter. Like if I'm on the internet, if I'm on the one, or if it's just like really slow today. Because if I get on here, live chat. If I take it out of Chrome, then maybe I won't have as many issues. I might just be having like internet issues in general today. Ken says Savage is a better worker than Warrior. That's true. I mean, they did have a great match against each other at WrestleMania 7, but in general, now what? Why are all my... Maybe I need to fix something with my output or something. I don't know. I don't know. Am I still frozen? Because we might just have to like power through it today, guys. I'm sorry. I really don't know what's going on and why it's causing so many issues. If you can hear me clearly, I guess that's the only thing. When I do entrances and stuff and wheel spins, it's very different. I want to see how to see how much data I've used iPhone. So you know, I wonder if this is just in general. going to put it on Wi-Fi. I hope it doesn't cause too much of an issue. This is kind of ridiculous, this stream today. That's okay. Frame rate's kind of slow, but I'm good. Okay. As long as you guys can hear me and you can hear what I'm saying, then I apologize for the frame rate. It's probably my own fault because I switched over from a different internet connection in the middle of the stream. But all right. Fortnite Master. Greg, do you play Fortnite? I do not. I don't. I've been mostly playing Super Mario Maker 2 on the Switch. And I've been playing a lot of WWE Champions on mobile. I started Luigi's Mansion a couple weeks ago. Luigi's Mansion 3. I made it a little bit through the game. It's fun. It is. I just haven't beat it the whole way. You know, the stream's been acting out like for a while now. I don't know why. As long as I'm good and I can stay on the Wi-Fi and not use data, it's fine. Would I ever play it? I don't know. I don't know if it's really my style of gameplay. Especially because Fortnite seems like it's a massive multiplayer game. I've never been a fan of massive multiplayer, like MMORPGs. Just haven't. I've always been like, hey, I'll play games against myself. The only like online multiplayer games I think I would ever play are like WWE games, Madden. I'd probably play NCAA football if it comes back, hopefully, and maybe like Monopoly or something. I've just never been like a really big into those games like Fortnite or like Minecraft, some other game I never really got into. Actually, I don't think I've ever played it. I've seen it played, but I've never played it myself. I have a very different genre of games that I choose to play. I like Mario games and Luigi's Mansion. I mean, Luigi's Mansion's good so far. Like I said, I've made it a little deep into the game. I just haven't outright beat it. We might get an appearance by my dog here because he's whining a lot. Ken says WWE Champions is my shit now. I like that game way better than the grindy WWE game. Don't get me wrong, Champions is grindy too. It can be very grindy, but I kind of enjoy that grind. Actually, Showdown mode is going on right now, and I think if the people in my faction knew I was doing this instead of grinding, they'd be like, what are you doing? It's like, get into the game. Not really. They're pretty cool. And they know by the time I get off this stream, I'm going to max the Showdown event anyway, so whatever. I have a feeling we're going to get an appearance from my dog, so 1 second. Bangers. Hi, Bangy. Hi, Bangy. Oh. Bangers. Don't go too far. What are you sniffing? I have NCAA football 2004. No shit. All the Madden up to 2011. Come here. No, don't jump on the bed. Does the dog have to pee? I don't think so, because I took him out right before the stream and he peed, so he should be good. How old is your dog? He is about 4 years old. Huh, Bangers? Big Pot, what are you doing? Bingy, where are you going? Hey, come here. Come here. Hi, Bangers. Ow, you're closer. Hi. Hi, Bingy. Here, go for it. Hi, Bangers. Hi, Bingy. What? Hi, Bangers. Oh. Hi, Bingy. Okay, get down. Get down. You like being on the stream, huh? You like being on the stream, huh? You don't? Why don't you like being on the stream? You're usually playing the daily activities with Typhoon. Yeah, I got Typhoon up to 3-star bronze already. Um, I'm waiting until the coin event to push them any further, which I think is tomorrow. I think there's a coin event tomorrow, so taking them up will be. Yeah. Greg, I noticed you're wearing the mustard Tough and Worthy shirt like I am wearing now. Yes, the Tough and Worthy shirt. The new version of the shirt is available on my Teespring store. There's actually a light version and a dark version. So depending on how you like the lettering, you can get either one. I actually have a dark one that's supposed to be on its way. Fortnite Master. That's one cute dog. He is adorable. Aren't you, Bingers? Aren't you adorable? Don't get on the bed. Don't get on the bed. Don't get on the bed, Bing boy. Come on. Pink boy. Are you done with me? Are you done? Okay. Keith Johnson says, Greg, that Karrion Kross entrance was different. Yeah, it was very different. I liked it. There are some people who are already like ripping it apart and like, come on, guys. It's like he just debuted on the roster. It's like, give something a chance, for crying out loud. And there goes the dog. Bye, Bangers. Curtis Butler asked, do you think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs? I hope so. I miss not having Steelers playoff football. They haven't been in a couple years, and it's driving me nuts. Granted, last year, even if they would have made the playoffs, I don't think they would have made it very far. But it's just the fact of the matter. Playoff football is just so exciting. Buddy Darius, what's the dog's name? The dog's name is Bing. Bing Cherry. See what we did there. You got Typhoon with 3 stars too. That's awesome. You must have got the you must have got enough shards to fuse them to 2-star gold and then took them up to 3 bronze. Cool. The dog is having some fun. Yeah, he always has some fun. He's adorable. He's like the best dog. He really is. Best dog. And he finally gets along with our cat too, which took him like a year plus. 2 years almost. But yeah. So yeah, I really hope the Steelers make the playoffs. I hope Notre Dame, first of all, I hope football games are allowed to happen this year because there's a lot of talk that the NCAA isn't going to bring back college sports unless everybody's back in school, like in person. It's like, oh, come on, don't deny me. Fall is college football and NFL season. Do not deny me of that. Like, I'm hoping that all of this just is gone and everybody just takes precautions and stuff. Just let football happen, you know? Curtis Butler, I guess you're going to name the next dog Yahoo. No, because Bing might be a search engine, but Bing is also a kind of cherry. Maraschino might be the next name for an animal, but not Yahoo. Well, I think I had to buy a lot of upgrade color cards. Sorry, I don't know the term. You mean training points? TP? The game is a little dangerous if you spend too much money. That's why I try and do it few and far between. Greg, I would like to debate you about Baron Corbin by asking you some questions. I think I can change your mind about him, but if I can't, maybe you could change mine. You up for it? It'll be a hard sell to try and change my mind about Baron Corbin, but you can try. Let's see. I think I'm missing some chats in here. Greg, was 2000 the best year of the Attitude Era? 2000 was a solid year. You had the Rock's championship run. You had the rise of Kurt Angle. With Stone Cold not being around for most of the year, it allowed other people the chance to shine. It gave guys like Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero time to shine. It gave a chance for like the Right to Censor to become a massive heel stable, which I honestly think they could have been more than they had. Granted, the roster was stacked at the time, but I feel like if you put Right to Censor, like that type of group, in WWE in this day and age, they would probably be a main event faction just because of the heat that they would generate. Put them in NXT, they might be hated, like a hated heel staple. Like Undisputed Era are heels, but we love them because they're awesome. RTC would probably be the heel staple that people would hate. Which is weird to say because, you know, Steven Richards, Bull Buchanan, Goodfather, Val Venus, and Ivory, they don't seem like main event types, but a stable like that in this day and age, I feel like would work better. How could you still be a fan of Baron after losing Money in the Bank to Jinder Mahal when he was fresh? I was upset that Corbin lost the Money in the Bank. I thought he got screwed. The fact that they just used that for his match with Cena and then Corbin didn't even beat Cena, I feel like they were trying to bury him, which then why have him win the Money in the Bank in the first place? It frustrated me so much. But I still wanted to cheer him on because it's like, okay, he's down, but he can come back. He can come back and do something good. And he won the United States Championship, so give him that at least. He did become U.S. champion for a brief period. But it wasn't anything long term. I think you got to spend like 100 or 200 in terms of upgrading a performer or getting a 4-star worker. Try if you can handle it. Try not to put money in the game and just do the daily tours and stuff. Because for WWE Champions, you put too much money in the game, you're not gonna get out of it what you put into it typically. But grinding and doing the free stuff, you'll get more enjoyment and more satisfaction than you would be just paying to get people, because there's no guarantee you get them anyway. Buddy, he gets go-away heat, X-Pac heat to be exact. Now, Corbin, I don't think gets X-Pac heat. Because people love to boo Corbin. They like to see him get his ass kicked. People, when they say X-Pac, he just didn't care about X-Pac one way or the other. They didn't want him on TV at all. It'd be like, hey, just get off TV. We don't even want to see you get beat up. We just don't want to see you at all. People want to see Baron Corbin get beat up. Cyrus the Virus was kind of a top personality in ECW. The Rock called Baron an STD. What are your thoughts? Well, The Rock also called Jonathan Coachman a popcorn fart. So, you know, The Rock just gets people to chant whatever he wants. So, for the fact that Corbin was in a segment with The Rock, it helped him more than it hurt him. Because that means they trusted him with being in that kind of spot against The Rock and against Becky Lynch also, who's pretty hot at the time. So, I don't see being in a segment with The Rock as burying anybody by any stretch of the imagination, because The Rock is always going to get one over on the heels. He's going to make fun of them. That's just what The Rock does. I mean, what heel has he not died to? He did it to the New Day. He did it to The Miz. He did it to Rusev. It's not going to hurt him in the long run. You mean literally don't spend any money? For WWE Champions, try not to. Because, like I said, you have the daily tours that you can do. The Dead Man's Daily and, like, the other tours that you can do. Excuse me. Just worry about leveling up your superstars and doing those daily tours every day, because like the Monday Night Raw tour, for example, you do that tour, you can get up to like 120 red training points, maybe more, depending on how many others you grab from the loot boxes. But if you do those tours, you're guaranteed to get like 120 red TP every Monday. So you can earn training points that way. You can also do them through your faction and spending the coins there. Make sure you're not spending too much money when you need resources. I feel like I should almost do like an introduction to WWE Champions, like a freaking course or something, to people playing the game for the first time, to give them tips on how to play the game even better. You know what I mean? Because playing from the very beginning, especially since they introduced the leagues, I can't really give a course on how to build from League 1 to where I am right now, League 14, because I was kind of grandfathered into League 14. So I wouldn't be able to give anybody good information on how to build. It's just grind, play through the game, play through the road mode, level up people as much as you possibly can. They give out free characters every month now, so you can progress through the game even faster. So just do that, and you'll be good to go. Question 3 of 5. Baron defeated Kurt Angle in his retirement match, which wasn't memorable in the slightest. As much as you like Corbin, you have to admit that was horrible. Corbin Angle wasn't the greatest match in WrestleMania history, but it also wasn't the worst. We all really knew what was coming, and it gave Corbin more fuel to get more heat on him by beating Kurt Angle in his retirement match at WrestleMania. And yes, I've spoken about how much I like Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's a Clarion guy, which I also am. We're both Pittsburghers, we're both Pennsylvanians. And I've always liked Kurt Angle. But he needed a match to go out with, and giving Corbin the rub for that helped Corbin more than hurting him at all. Nobody wanted Corbin to beat Kurt Angle's final match. Well, apparently Kurt did. I mean, Kurt probably wanted Cena because that would have made sense, but I think it helped Corbin in the long run. It gave him all that heat from introducing himself and saying the man who retired Kurt Angle in Kurt Angle's retirement match, or who defeated Kurt Angle in his retirement match. It's like, it gave him more heat. He got to use that for months on end, and then he became King of the Ring. So tell me, I feel like that's helped him more than it's hurt him. Make a beginner's video about champions on your channel. It was supposed to be Jason Jordan, but well, it was supposed to be Jason Jordan, but Jordan got hurt. Like, you can't really say it was supposed to be Jason Jordan because Jordan's in-ring career was over before Kurt Angle even decided he was going to retire. Jason Jordan had that neck injury in 2018, and Kurt Angle wrestled with Ronda Rousey against Stephanie and Triple H at that year's WrestleMania, 2 months after Jordan's final match. So there was no way, unless Jordan recovered from his neck injury, that it was supposed to be Jason Jordan. Corbin has said bad things about Dave Meltzer and other wrestling dirt sheets in the past. Most of it was criticism, but he took it to heart and bashed them. Your thoughts? Think about how many dirt sheets go after pretty much any wrestler these days. You don't think Corbin has the right to defend himself? I mean, Meltzer is all up AEW's ass, so why wouldn't he fight back against these people who don't say good things about him? If Corbin is not supposed to take these criticisms to heart, is like he's doing what he can. Corbin is, quite frankly, I think he should still be a top heel on SmackDown. If he's not considered one, he should be. And if people want to criticize him for his in-ring work, first of all, Baron Corbin has two of the coolest moves in professional wrestling right now that don't include a lot of flippy shit. He has the Deep Six, which, yes, it's just a side slam, but the theatrics of it and the spin makes it look like it's more impactful. And the End of Days, which I still think is the best finisher in the game. How can you hate somebody so much? Because it's like, oh, he's boring. It's like, the King Corbin thing, I think, has been wonderful. I've loved it. people may not like Baron Corbin because of it, but like I've enjoyed Corbin. I think the King Corbin is an improvement on what he was before, because when he was just a lone wolf, he was just kind of there. But now he's got like a full gimmick that he's embracing, and you got to respect the man for like going with what he's given and like taking it and running. Corbin recently attacked an idiot comedian yesterday. Yeah, he got that comedian got a lot of flack for that. Angle should have beat Corbin in 20 seconds. Well, here's the thing. Angle beating Corbin in 20 seconds in his retirement match helps absolutely no one. What does that do for Corbin? Angle's about to retire. He's not in the best of shape, and then Corbin loses to him in a squash. That doesn't help Baron Corbin at all. That doesn't help Kurt Angle at all, because he's not going to continue on wrestling. That happening to Corbin would have been far worse than Corbin beating Angle. Corbin beating Angle was huge for Baron Corbin. It moved the story along. It moved Baron Corbin's story along because he was the one who beat Angle and retired him. It does no good for Angle to beat Corbin in his last match. It does nobody any good at all. Because Corbin wouldn't be able to get his comeuppance. And he would have just lost to some guy and who was never going to wrestle again. I think Corbin beating Angle was the right call. Question 505. Baron in the past has disrespected wrestling fans. Why continue supporting him? Disrespecting them how? I mean, if people come up, it's not like he's going out of his way to disrespect them. If you've seen some, people were saying, and I think this is wrong too, that they should have, you remember that whole like wave of releases, like that Black Wednesday or that Dark Wednesday or whatever you want to call it, that a bunch of people got released and people were like, oh, why didn't King Corbin get released? He sucks. It's like, people don't understand, like, he is a person portraying a gimmick. You don't like the gimmick, but you're trying to wish he was fired so he's not able to provide for his family. That's messed up. Say what you will about his gimmick, but don't, like, come attacking the man saying you, like, hate the person portraying the character. Because the person portraying Baron Corbin, first of all, if you've ever watched him on Up, Up, Down, Down, he's freaking hilarious. It's so entertaining watching him like compete and just be on the channel and stuff like that. But to wish ill about the man, I mean, that you can't stand up for those wrestling fans and be like, yeah, like I agree, Corbin should have been released. It's like, first of all, no, Corbin should not be released. What did he do so wrong? You don't like his gimmick, so he should be released? That's not how that works. You don't get to judge somebody's in-ring performance and say, yeah, this person deserves to be released because he's boring or he doesn't connect with the fans. People boo him all the time. He's connecting with the fans and the fans don't like him. Like, they genuinely boo him as a heel. Why would you want to release somebody who gets such a reaction from the crowd? Baron Corbin still gets a reaction from the crowd, when there are crowds there. So why would you want to take somebody who genuinely gets that reaction from a crowd when there are a bunch of other heels who people sit on their hands for? That's all I'm saying. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. Greg, we need baseball back. I need sports. I feel weird without Major League Baseball being on. I get it. I mean, we're in May. Granted, it friggin' snowed here today and yesterday. But not having Major League Baseball in May is so weird. Like, granted, I don't really get into the season until later on. Like, yeah, maybe I'll watch a game or two here and there, but, like, I don't really get into the season. Because there's 162 games, guys, in Major League Baseball that take place in 6 months. It's like you almost play a game or two every single day. There are a couple days where you can rest, and then there's the All-Star break and whatever. But, I mean, baseball is if you want to follow an entire season of baseball, you got to be one of two things: either a baseball analyst or unemployed. I'm one of those two, but it's very hard for somebody to follow along with an entire baseball season and be able to actually have decent analysis for it. It's easier with football because there's not as many games, and it's just easier to follow along with football. And I think it's far more entertaining than baseball. Don't get me wrong. I love baseball. I mean, hello. But it's easier to follow along with football. I think football is more enjoyable to watch, personally. Yep, no problem, buddy. I have no problem doing the debate. I really don't. I respect your opinion. I hope you respect mine. And yeah, it is kind of hard to look past the Money in the Bank thing. That's kind of why I want him to win tomorrow night, just so he can get his redemption, be King Corbin, and be the Universal Champion. Because he's beat Braun before. It's possible. Whether or not he gets him up for the end of days is another story, but I don't know. I'd like to see Corbin be the Universal Champion. Yeah, Kazarny got like absolutely no reaction whatsoever. Nobody cared about him, and he beat MVP in his debut match. It was awful. Ken says, I'm surprised talking to Buddy, you haven't trashed on Shane McMahon. Yeah, trashing on Shane McMahon wouldn't work on me either. Because everybody knows, anybody who's watched knows I'm a Shane O'Mark. I need to find my Shane jersey and wear it on one of these streams again. If Corbin would have beaten Jinder for the title, remained undefeated, and then would have beaten Kurt Angle, then I would have been on board with this push, and I'd probably still be a Corbin fan. Here's the thing. I can't turn on Corbin based on how he was booked. If I would have turned on him based, be like, oh, well, they just jobbed him out in like 6 seconds. Corbin's in the shortest WWE Championship match in history, losing to Jinder Mahal. But it's not like he just straight up lost. Cena distracted him. So it furthered the story. It was frustrating for me because I didn't want to see him lose Money in the Bank. But like I want him to redeem himself at some point. So like that kind of cloud hangs over him that he failed cashing in Money in the Bank so easily. That's why I want to see him win it again. Jermaine Presley, King Corbin and Bray Wyatt are the two top heels in the company. The only problem is they're on the same brand. They might need to split them up, and that's when Corbin can flourish by himself at the top. Maybe move. I wish they would like move King Corbin to Raw. A King Corbin and Drew McIntyre feud would be amazing. They should do that. Maybe make Corbin go. They keep reiterating that the person who wins Money in the Bank can only cash in on their brand's champion, but that's never been the case. Why are they making such a big deal out of it this year? I think that Corbin should go to Raw, cash in on Drew McIntyre, and become WWE Champion. He might not be able to win the Universal title. Maybe he goes to Raw, cashes in on Drew, but with WWE emphasizing that you can only cash in on your brand's champion, which is ridiculous because contracts for a championship match whenever you want it. I don't know. I feel like, and that's another reason I said that the Hacker might win the Money in the Bank is because they don't know what brand the Hacker's on. We don't know who it is, so they could cash in on whoever they wanted to. Granted, the Hacker's really only been on SmackDown, but Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. You know why the Greg Cherry brand is awesome? Because you can talk wrestling, football, and baseball, which not a lot of cats can put that all together in one live stream. Thank you, brother. No problem. I actually like talking sports a lot, and it's frustrating to me when there are no sports on to talk about. Like the NHL playoffs should be going on right now, but everything's locked down. And it's frustrating. Like the Stanley Cup playoffs should be going on right now. But because of all the COVID stuff, boy, I hope it's not like this same time next year. I want this to be gone by summer. Because everybody's going to be scared to death. Everybody's going to be locked down. Everybody's going to be... People don't understand. But yeah, I'm sure this is a big deal. I'm sure that the virus is a big deal and that a lot of people are dealing with it. I understand that. But first of all, if people would just listen to orders and stay home and not be like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want. It's like, have some responsibility, okay? You're not doing it just for you. You're doing it to protect the people who are more susceptible to it than you are. And if you just listen to what you're told to be doing, then you'd be fine. But there are people who are like, oh, rebel against the system. It's like, just... Ken terminated by Google. Do you see Black as a top face? Is he a good talker? I feel like they're slowly building Aleister Black to be a future top person on Raw, but I mean, we'll see. Steve-O, you watching the Korean Baseball League on ESPN? I didn't even know that was on ESPN. I didn't even know ESPN was showing sports right now, other than like classic stuff. Curtis Butler, and this is a comment a few back, said the best analogy, basketball, baseball, and hockey are like soap operas. They are daily. Football is weekly, so the tension mounts every game. And that's the thing with football against other sports. In football, every game means something. In baseball, hockey, basketball, you can lose like 35% of your games and still be fine. 35-40% of your games and be like, oh yeah, we're in the playoffs. Just because there's so many of them. It's like you can make up ground easy in baseball. Football, it's a lot harder. Nick Glavin says, and no NBA was looking forward to my Raptors defending their title. I don't follow basketball as much, so that's not as big of a deal to me personally. But yeah, there's no NBA either. So I don't know. I just really want sports back in general. You know? Ken says, I would like to see Aleister as a heel with Zelina Vega as his manager. Their channel is pretty cool on YouTube. That would be an interesting combination. A heel Aleister Black with Zelina Vega as manager. Yeah, they're married in real life, but just imagine her managing him and Aleister Black essentially keeping the same gimmick and Zelina Vega just like sending him out to like take people out with a black mass. Interesting dynamic, I think that would be. Curtis says, I foresee the MLB will be back by the end of June. I hope so. Whether it's with fans or not, like I would like to see, if nothing else, a shortened season, just so we can get some baseball back. Steve-O says, I don't really watch sports, just found out they were doing Korean baseball because they opened up and ESPN needs something. Yeah, they do. They do need something. And that's why, I think that's why they were showing WrestleManias too. They were showing some WWE content also on their networks because they need first run material. If they don't have it, then they don't have it. Do I watch A to Z? I'm subscribed to them, but I haven't watched any of their videos yet. I've seen Zelina's like personality when she's on Up, Up, Down, Down. I'm guessing it's the same. So I haven't watched their videos. I do want to check out like their Q&A videos and whatnot. But I don't know. I do want to check out some of their stuff. The Rev Nation, what are your feelings about the rumors on the possible sale of WWE? There's rumors all the time about the possible sale. The most recent ones are the sale to Fox and ESPN. Even with the sale of their stocks, I don't think that the WWE will be sold anytime soon. I may be wrong. This might be the closest it's ever come to being sold. But I just can't see Vince letting go of his company and selling it to somebody else. I just can't see it happening. Darren G, what's up? How you doing? Not too bad. Been on the stream for a little bit. Got a couple spins in. You know, everything's good. Jermaine says, well, SummerSlam is not happening in Boston, so, but where would it be at? So they do a bash at the beach in Florida. I don't know. They might do a Florida show. It really depends on, again, I mentioned this earlier, what states decide they want to open up and allow crowds into an area. Boston's not doing it till after Labor Day. We don't know if that's going to be the same with other countries, or other cities, other states. We don't really know what their status is. And I don't see them doing overseas tours until next year at the earliest. Chris Butler says MLB will probably be 81 or 82 games, no All-Star games. Yeah, there's no point in doing an All-Star game. Just do half a season, call it good. Imagine cinematic matches at the new SummerSlam Bash at the Beach because there's no SummerSlam in Boston. That'd be interesting. Let's see. Where was I at? Kobe Bryant's going in as an NFL Hall of Famer. Yeah, well, I mean, timing of it makes sense, but that was really unfortunate what happened to him. Share this on Twitter. I appreciate that, Darren. Appreciate that. Could get a couple more spins, and if you weren't here before, I added a couple new things to the wheel. Haven't been hit yet, but new things are added to the wheel, including promo class, Macho Man promos, doing 20 push-ups, and giving out samples of my wife's and my Beachbody stuff to you guys for free. Well, for a spin, but you guys get the stuff. And we'll just ship it off to you. You give us the address, we'll ship it off to you. But nobody's hit it yet, so it's not a concern. And I'll talk more about it once we get more material in and I have stuff to show off on the channel. If you take WWF, WCW, ECW in 2001 and had a huge card of all the characters, name your 12-match Mania you would have wanted to see. Jeez. So basically book a WrestleMania with everybody who was in the Alliance storyline. I don't know how much you would have changed from what actually happened during that Alliance time frame. And I thought Kobe retired years ago, too. Yeah, I don't really know what you would want to do unless you just that there was no like Alliance designation. Because you probably have Kurt Angle in the main event somewhere, in the main event picture at least. You'd have The Rock in there, you'd have Jericho, you'd have Taker, you'd have Austin, you'd have Shane McMahon, you'd have the Big Show, Booker T, DDP. Oh, is anybody, including guys who stayed away from WWE? Okay. So that would include like Flair, the NWO, Goldberg, really all those guys. Well, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Hollywood Hogan would have been up there. The Rock versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Kurt Angle versus I don't even know who you could put Kurt up against that he hasn't already faced. I was going to say, by that point, Bret had his injury and was already out of the ring, so you can't do Kurt Angle against Bret Hart, even though I would really want to. Who would you guys put Kurt Angle up against? Against anybody during that Alliance time frame, and anybody who was involved with wrestling in 2001. I can't think of somebody who he hadn't already faced. Might just put Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon again because I love that match against each other. I don't know. I'd have to think. I'd have to like write down everybody and make a full card. I don't know who I would put up against each other for the rest of them. Keith Johnson, can you see any resemblance between Mandy Rose and Liv Morgan? Not really. I mean, they're both blonde, but that's. I was trying to think who I saw Liv Morgan as more of a resemblance to. It wasn't Mandy. Frick. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head. Angle versus Goldberg. That would have been interesting. Imagine Angle shooting on Goldberg. Getting him to tap to the ankle lock. Maybe Vince put Charlotte in NXT to bring more viewers and create a new top heel. That's possible. We'll see if Charlotte keeps that NXT Women's Championship for long, or if she'll go back to Raw, because technically she's still on Raw, but she's the NXT Women's Champion. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Who did I think Liv Morgan... Liv Morgan kind of reminded me of Carmella, like when Liv was still in NXT. I mean, they look very different now, but like I thought Liv Morgan was just like a kind of a Carmella ripoff at the time. But now that she's evolved, it's very different. Angle versus Jarrett. I think Ripley will get her title back. She's the most likable face in NXT. Well, I mean, maybe Io gets another shot. She didn't get pinned on Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they do a fatal four-way to get the title off of Charlotte without her having to be pinned. You figure 2 of Charlotte's title losses. Well, here, let me think of Charlotte's title losses in the last couple years. Charlotte's 10th was due to a cheap small package to Bayley. Bayley cashed in Money in the Bank on her. Charlotte lost her title in a triple threat where she wasn't pinned. Before that, Becky kind of rolled her up. The title reign before that, she had Money in the Bank cashed in on her the first time. She was Raw Women's Champion before that, and had to cheat. Like, Bayley had to cheat to beat Charlotte because of Sasha. I don't think Charlotte has lost a championship clean in her last 6 or 7 title reigns. Like, they've always protected her. The only time that Charlotte looked like the only time where it looked like the person who beat Charlotte was better than her was Sasha. Sasha is the only person to truly get a clean victory over Charlotte. And that includes the NXT Women's title and the Raw Women's title. Charlotte has never truly cleanly lost the SmackDown Women's title. Kurt Angle versus Bret Hart in his prime. Kurt and Bret, with both of them in their prime, probably would have been the greatest wrestling match of all time. Isn't Io a heel or a face? I don't know. Io Shirai is still doing like the heel act, but they might have turned her face. I feel like since Io's return, she's kind of being presented as a babyface, and the crowd is behind Io anyway. Bianca should have stayed in NXT. I'm so sick of the Profits. You're sick of the Street Profits, Ken? And I love the Street Profits. And why wouldn't Bianca want to be with her husband, Montez Ford? Kurt Angle versus RVD or Taz. Well, I feel like we've seen both of those matches. Kurt Angle versus Shane Douglas. That would have been interesting. Two Pittsburgh guys going at it. Yeah, Angle faced Taz like in Taz's WWE debut. So I don't think there's any need to really revisit that. Wrestling Fan 1998. Who would you like to see win Money in the Bank? Said it at the top of the show. I predicted Baron Corbin or King Corbin and Nia Jax. Would I like to see win it? Sasha, but she's not in the match. I don't really know. I would like to see Corbin win the Money in the Bank and actually cash it in successfully. Just so he gets that stigma of failing with the briefcase years ago off of him. Oh, you're talking about a tweener. Keith Johnson says Street Profits are a bargain version of the New Day. Oh, come on. I don't think that's true. I think the New Day and Street Profits have their own thing going on. They're both hilarious, and both teams are ridiculously athletic. I mean, Montez Ford has got like springs in his legs instead of muscles because he gets height. He is insanely athletic. I love Montez Ford though. Angelo Dawkins too. I love them both, and I love the New Day. So there you go. But I don't think the Profits are a cheaper version of the New Day. I like the Profits. I like the Profits equally like I like the New Day. The Profits are pretty corny, but they're a good tag team. But I prefer Private Party from AEW. And everybody tries to compare Private Party and the Street Profits. They're both very good teams, similar gimmicks, but they're not the same. Like, all four of them can be good. Like, Private Party and Street Profits can both be good teams. Do you think Edge will wrestle at SummerSlam, and who will Edge feud with next? Well, it looks like they're continuing Edge's feud with Randy Orton. Hopefully not another last man standing match. Hopefully as something a little more straightforward. But I guess we'll see. Creative should have had something for Charlotte. Same time she should have done some tag team work and get over herself. The thing is, Charlotte will always be seen as a singles champion. Charlotte's had one shot at the tag team titles, and she injured Kairi Sane during it. So everybody who's on Nia's case about injuring Kairi Sane is like, where was the heat when Charlotte did it and legit gave her a concussion? Excuse me. Darren G says, I first thought of the Prophets as a PG version of Crime Time, but I admit I'm slowly becoming a fan of them. I think they're hilarious. Like, they honestly put me more in mind of the Primetime players than they do Crime Time. Titus and Darren, especially like in 2015 when they reunited, and they were just cutting these like hilarious backstage segments. A lot of people, and you know what, I say this about Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, a lot of people don't remember how good they were as a tag team, how entertaining they were as a tag team. They kind of get forgotten in the mix, and I'm glad they at least had a tag team title reign for a little bit, but a lot of people don't remember just how good Titus and Darren were as a tag team. The first SmackDown after WrestleMania 28, when they debuted as a tag team on SmackDown, I was like, I love these guys. They're going to be something special. And I really think they could have been. And they did eventually become tag team champions. But I think their work is underappreciated. I really do. And I don't know why. Because they did great work. They were entertaining. They put on good matches. I don't know why the Primetime players are so underappreciated. I really don't. How about Asuka wins Money in the Bank and takes the NXT title from Charlotte? That would be fine, but here's the thing. If you're going to do Money in the Bank, I think you should include NXT people in it. The brands are either even or they're not. If you're going to do Money in the Bank, here's what I think they should do. And maybe this is just like... Here's what I think WWE should do. They should do Raw-only pay-per-views, SmackDown-only pay-per-views, NXT takeovers. And then for the Big Four, have all three brands come together. So for the Royal Rumble, all three brands. WrestleMania, all three brands. SummerSlam, all three brands. Survivor Series, all three brands. And then do your solo, trying to like get all these storylines over at the same time. And you're still throwing crap on shows. It's like... How, when you're doing dual-branded pay-per-views, can you only put together 4 storylines? Honestly. That is inexcusable. Your talent base is far deeper than you want to even attempt. Why are some stories not getting any time? You have the Money in the Bank matches, which is fine. Because the Money in the Bank pay-per-view has to have Money in the Bank matches. But for the rest of the card, why is it so weak? Why are half of your champions not defending their titles? The Raw Tag Team titles aren't being defended for like... I was going to say a pay-per-view in a row, but they did defend them at WrestleMania. Raw Tag Team titles aren't being defended. Raw Women's Championship isn't being defended. The United States title is... The only title being defended on Raw is the WWE Championship. You have 3 SmackDown titles being defended, 1 Raw title being defended. Sami Zayn's not on the show, so can't defend the Intercontinental title. Like, why are the Raw titles not being defended? Andrade hasn't defended his U.S. Championship since, what, Elimination Chamber? Because he missed WrestleMania with an injury. He's not even booked for Money in the Bank. Like, do something with the United States Championship. Either make Andrade defend it or take it off him and make somebody else defend it. I don't understand what they're doing. And Becky hasn't been on the show since WrestleMania, really. Maybe she's filming her movie. Maybe she's filming other stuff. I really don't know. Curtis Butler. I despise when people always compare black teams, and he's not talking about me. Because they're black doesn't mean they have the same movesets. No, they don't. I mean, you can't really compare the New Day and Private Party or Street Profits or anything like that because they don't have the same moves. They don't. They're two completely different tag teams with different styles. Big E's a power guy. Kofi's a high flyer. And yeah, Angelo Dawkins is more of a power guy, and Montez Ford is a high flyer, but their movesets are different. And they have different personalities. Yeah, they make jokes. Yeah, they have funny segments, but they're not the same at all. And when the New Day gets serious, they put on some of their best work ever. Just saying. Why isn't Lynch defending her title at Money in the Bank? I don't know. I don't book the shows. I can't explain that. She might be out filming her Marvel movie. In which case, why didn't you take the title off of her at WrestleMania so Shayna could be defending against whoever won Raw's Money in the Bank? If somebody from Raw does win Money in the Bank. I still think that Nia should win Money in the Bank, cash in on Becky Lynch, and then they have a little bit of feud of their own over the whole Survivor Series thing a couple years ago. Curtis Butler, I want the Andrade versus Black match build up after Money in the Bank. Well, they had a great match at TakeOver a couple years ago for the NXT title. So I wouldn't mind seeing more of Andrade versus Aleister Black. I think it would build up the importance of the United States Championship a little bit more. The U.S. title has just been not focused on really much at all. I'm trying to think of the last solid United States Championship feud. Let's see. Before Andrade was Mysterio. Mysterio won it from AJ. AJ won it from Ricochet. Who won it from Samoa Joe. Who took it after Mysterio forfeited the title. Mysterio beat Joe. Joe beat R-Truth. R-Truth beat Nakamura. Nakamura beat Rusev. Rusev beat Nakamura. Nakamura beat Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy beat Jinder. The United States Championship has not had a solid feud in a good couple of years. Honestly. The United States Championship feuds have not been memorable at all. And it sucks because there have been some good champions, just no solid feuds. Nobody compare the Profits to Harlem Heat. Yeah, that's because Harlem Heat were just two badasses. I loved Harlem Heat as a kid, man. Harlem Heat was just such a cool tag team. I'm so glad they went in the Hall of Fame. Booker T and Stevie Ray, they came on my TV when WCW was on. I was just man, those two guys are badass. Obviously, I didn't think that verbiage as a kid, but looking back, it's man, those two were just awesome. Booker T and Stevie Ray, best tag team WCW ever had, far and away. You can have your outsiders. You can have your Steiner brothers. You can have your heck. You can even have your Road Warriors. I put Harlem Heat above them all in WCW. Harlem Heat was WCW's best tag team. Don't at me. I think the brand extension is meaningless by this point. This is from Wrestling Fan 1998. What do you think? They should get rid of the United States Championships and unify the World Championships. They probably. See, the thing is, I like the United States Championship. I like the idea of the U.S. Championship, but I'm going to say this, and I may be wrong, but the last time the United States Championship was important and people actually gave a crap about it was when John Cena was champion and doing the U.S. Open. And that's been 5 years ago. People were heavily invested into the United States Championship then. Then Del Rio won it. Nobody cared. Kalisto won it. Rusev won it back. Roman Reigns won it. Jericho won it. Maybe Kevin Owens with the whole New Face of America thing. But I don't know. I feel like nobody truly cared about the United States Championship unless Cena was doing the U.S. Open, because those matches were exciting. People were invested. They wanted to see who was going to come out and face Cena. And it just provided intriguing television for months. And it just hasn't been the same since. Ken says, Harlem Heat is one of my favorite tag teams. They might be in my Mount Rushmore of favorite tag teams. I mean, that's fair. I mean, Harlem Heat should be up there. As far as the greatest tag teams in wrestling history, Harlem Heat is absolutely up there. It's like the Dudleys, the Harlem Heat, the Hardys. I want to put Edge and Christian up there just because, but I feel like Edge had far more success as a singles wrestler than he did as a tag team. And don't get me wrong, his tag team work was great. He was like 12-time tag team champion or something like that. Something ridiculous. But so probably the Hardys, the Dudleys, Harlem Heat. Who else would I put up there? I'd almost want to put Beer Money up there, to be honest. It's a very obscure reference, but Storm and Rude together as a tag team were gold. They were gold. Man, I wish James Storm would leave the NWA, come to WWE, and become a tag team with Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, whatever, and just be Beer Money again. Keith Johnson says U.S. Championship hasn't been relevant since SmackDown of 03. I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's had some relevance. I mean, Cena winning the U.S. Championship as his first championship was a big deal. Eddie Guerrero being the first U.S. champion in 2003 was a big deal. The whole series with Booker T and Benoit, that was a big deal. I mean, let's see, 2006, he was U.S. champion. I just think the U.S. Championships gets a little bit of a bad rap. But like I said, I don't think it's had as much meaning since 2015. Sammy said he will not come back unless the COVID-19 is over. Well, good thing he won the Intercontinental title and just took it off TV. Remember 2002 when the Intercontinental title was dropped? Yeah, that was stupid. I don't know why they felt like, oh yeah, Raw only needs a World Championship, a Tag Team Championship, and a Women's Championship. It's like, you need a secondary title. Do you believe the Forgotten Sons will capture the gold Sunday? I don't think so. What's up, Big G? We got about 10 minutes left in the stream, brother. Um, yeah, I don't think the Forgotten Sons will win the gold. I predicted Miz and Morrison win the titles back on Sunday. Tomorrow, I guess. I really don't think that. Forgotten Sons will win the titles this soon. I don't think it'll help them at all. Curtis says the Nakamura in New Japan and NXT was a beast. Main roster, not so much. I mean, he really got a bad rap on the main roster. I think it hurt Nakamura more than it hurt Corbin to lose to Jinder. Because Nakamura lost to Jinder twice during that title run. And I feel like it hurt Shinsuke more than it hurt Baron Corbin in the long run. Let's see. Are you down for a Shane McMahon and Brock Lesnar match? Why was that match scrapped from Rumble? Well, it wouldn't have been 15 because Shane didn't return until 2016. I mean, Shane McMahon is kind of a lunatic anyway. If he wants to face Brock Lesnar, good for him. I don't see it doing any good to anybody. Are people going to get behind Shane McMahon to beat Brock Lesnar, or will people root for Brock Lesnar to beat the crap out of Shane? I don't see it happening. Big G, what do you think WWE needs to do to get their shit together? Get fans back. That's really all they can do at this point. Get fans back, get more people invested in the product. And maybe that'll help their ratings, as fans being back and cheering for people and stuff. Or do something that doesn't seem like such lazy booking. Because the lazy booking comes across even worse when there's no fans than it does when there is. Ken says, I have a bad feeling that the Forgotten Sons will win the tag belts and become the new top heel team. I don't see the Forgotten Sons winning. I might be wrong, but I feel like they're going to give the win to somebody who the people know. We don't even know if the Forgotten Sons are over yet because there's no fan reaction. You can't give them the championships when there's no fan investment behind them. You know what I mean? What if the Lucha House Party wins the belts? I'd put the belts on the Lucha House Party before I put it on Forgotten Sons. But in my scenario, I wouldn't even put the belts on them. I'd give it to Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Yeah, then Ken, you bringing up the point that the Intercontinental title was dropped in 2002, I thought was stupid. I was okay with them fusing the Intercontinental title and the European title together. That was fine. Then when they took the Hardcore title away, I was a little upset because I love the Hardcore title. I love the 24/7 title just because of the same rule. But when they got rid of the Intercontinental title and fused it with the World Heavyweight title, I was like, what the hell are you doing? And Stone Cold said it best when he brought back the title in 2003. He was like, a few months ago, some jackass abolished the Intercontinental title. He was like, on character, it was Eric Bischoff. But on screen, it was Eric Bischoff. But behind the scenes, it was probably somebody else, like Kevin Dunn or something. Jeff Meacham Rocks for Life says, the Hackers, CM Punk? I doubt it. I really doubt it. Old school tag team, the Skyscrapers, Doom, the Barbarians, the Warlords. I think you mean Powers of Pain with Warlord and the Barbarian. Gunner wasn't even all that impressive in Impact Wrestling. Yeah, like I said, the Forgotten Sons, we don't even know. People in NXT honestly didn't care about them. So why would we care about them on the main roster? But it wouldn't be the first time somebody who didn't have much success in NXT became something big on the main roster. Look at Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss was never NXT Women's Champion. Stop. Bliss was never NXT Women's Champion. Nia Jax was never NXT Women's Champion. People who never won the NXT Championship or Tag Team Championship or anything probably had more success on the main roster. Enzo Amore didn't win a championship in NXT. He was Cruiserweight Champion twice on WWE. Granted, he lost the title the second time because he got fired because of all that stuff. Adrian with the €10 super chat. Welcome, Adrian. You got right in at the tail end of the stream here because I only got about 5 minutes left, but you do get your spin. So let me give you that spin right away. I'm losing my voice. So let's see what you get, brother. Dance. Oh, hold on. Nope, you get macho time. Oh, yeah, you get macho time, Adrian. That's what you get. Yeah, you get a little bit of macho madness in you right now. I'm going to read a few comments right now in the voice of the macho man, yeah. So here we go, yeah. Your Wrestling Fan 1998 says, if anything, they could have moved the European Championship over to SmackDown and keep the IC on Raw without briefly retiring it like they did. The thing with the European title, though, is that, yeah, they really had nothing else to do with it, yeah. Putting the United States Championship is basically the same thing, although it's kind of worth a little bit more than the European Championship, yeah. So here we go. Elias being a perfect example of somebody who wasn't big in NXT, but became a bigger deal on the main roster. Yeah, he's a former multi-time 24/7 champion. Yeah, he's a bigger deal in NXT or in WWE than he ever was in NXT. Yeah, he was just kind of a background figure in NXT. Yeah. And here we go. Benoit and Dynamite. I don't see what that's all about. Yeah. Let's see, the European Championship does exist. It's called the NXT UK belt. I mean, that's pretty true. The United Kingdom Championship is pretty much the European Championship, except it's much better looking, yeah. And that's about the tail end of the Macho Madness, yeah. Just gonna cut a little bit of the Macho Madness out, yeah. And then we're gonna see where that takes us. Oh, yeah. Take it! All right. I can't do that for too long, otherwise it'll kill my voice even further. But we are getting in the tail end of the stream. Just in case I get like 12 super chats at the end of the stream like I did last week. I'm just going to say, I'm going to do my plugs right now, so you know what they are. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GregCherryBrand, YouTube.com/GregCherryBrand. The newest episode of the Wrestling Trivia Challenge goes up this coming Friday. I will be going one-on-one with Statboy Mike Caldwell. We'll see how that goes. I mean, he knows a lot of stuff, so it's going to be an intense episode. Buy a shirt, teespring.com/store/GregCherryBrand. I will be doing a shirt giveaway coming up soon. I will have more details about that on my Twitter, so please, please, please go follow me on Twitter for more details. That'll be coming up in the next week or so for a shirt giveaway. No purchase necessary. You just go and enter, and you can win yourself a Greg Cherry Brand t-shirt. So just go follow me on Twitter at Greg Cherry Brand, and I will post the details of the contest on there. I might post it on my Instagram too, but definitely I'll be posting it on Twitter. So go follow me there so you can get the details. You can win a Greg Cherry Brand shirt in whatever size you want, and we'll go from there. Curtis Butler, snap into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. This is Macho Man. Yeah. Adrian, I can do the Martin Luther King voice. Oh, that's impressive. You'll have to show that one time. But I'm wearing my Tough and Worthy mustard shirt. Me too. Look. Curtis Butler says, hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. No joke, seriously. Nick Glavin says, see you guys later. Thanks, Greg. Well, we'll see you later, Nick, and I think we'll see all you guys later. I'm going to end this a couple minutes early because last week went over a little bit, but it's okay. So follow me on all the social media. I'll have more details, hopefully, on my t-shirt giveaway next week on the stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it Saturday or Sunday. I'm just going to call these the weekend streams. Just follow along with the NoDQ.com channel, and you'll know when I go live. So if I decide to do Saturday, I'll